Hello, dear beautiful co-creators. So I am so delighted to share the Body Dialogue worksheet with you that you can download using the link that I'm going to put in the description. Okay. So this is the basic premise of the work that I do with my clients. And it is something that you can do with a trusted witness, like I do in sessions. Um, or something that you can consider doing with the worksheet using the paper as the trusted witness in similar vein to how we use the paper in automatic writing to gain insight from spirit guides, ancestors, inner wisdom, higher self, etc. So, or the same way that we use a tarot card as a witness, right? So, the body dialogue is something that I believe is an incredible tool, and I'm calling it the body dialogue, but I think it's quite possible that there are many other people using this phrase for their work, and I'm going to come up with some other way to call it so that I'm not infringing on something that other people may have coined the term. So I don't know how other people use that term, but that's the term that I've come up with so far of to describe the experience of checking in with a physical sensation, getting to know it, and coming to a place of loving acceptance of it. And this is informed by internal family systems and parts work, by the work of Byron Katie, by dialectical behavioral therapy, by 12 steps, by the wayfinding coaching training that I graduated from by Martha Beck. So I have incorporated all of these different trainings and modalities that I've experienced into this very simple way to connect in with any of the sensations or thoughts that are uncomfortable that arise in our bodies that I believe indicate that our soul has become aware that we are out of alignment with our true innocence. So, our absolute innocence is the phrase I use to describe that reality, which is that we are incapable of being wrong or bad. Okay. Now, we live in a world where good and evil are something that is a primary construct in this world, right? In this reality. Um, and my understanding is that on a soul universal level, there is no guilt. And so that's why shame and guilt feel so terrible in our body, right? And that's why judgment feels so terrible in our body, whether it's towards ourselves or towards other people, because our soul or our universal consciousness, which is our nervous system is a communicator of the universal consciousness, in my experience. Our nervous system says something's wrong, right? Because it knows that we are innocent and that unconditional love is the only love. Love is not capable of having conditions. And so when we put a condition or guilt onto ourselves or others, our system will tell us, hey, that's not true. And in Martha Beck's book, Diana Herself, which is an allegory, the character experiences this as what she calls the stabbies, which are like stabbing pains in her stomach every time she lies to her soul. And so anytime that I say like, oh, I'm not worthy, or oh, I shouldn't have a safe, joyful, creative life, or I can't afford it, even that is to the universal consciousness, which is like, there's literally limitless of everything. It's like, you're lying right now. And it'll tell me through discomfort, through anxiety, through shame, through um, uh, disease, headaches, migraines, stomach aches, irritable bowel syndrome, everything. All of these are indications that our soul, in my understanding, that our soul is saying, hey, that's not true. Because our soul is connected to limitless, unconditional love and absolute innocence. And so, this is a tool that we can use to come into more awareness and acceptance of these parts of us that don't feel accepted. Okay, and so I'm going to show you this little worksheet that I put together. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So, the body dialogue: when a sensation arises in your nervous system or a stressful thought arises, use these questions to get to know the part that is trying to communicate with you. Okay, so it could be a stressful thought, or it could be a stomach ache, or a headache, or a twinge in your elbow. Okay, so your first question is, where in your body is the sensation, or where does the sensation arise when you think this thought? So let's say I am thinking nothing's going to work out. I'm going to use my house as an example because that's the main piece of my life I'm not in alignment with right now. So my house is never going to get done, and we're not going to have a safe place to live. Okay, when I have that thought, I'm going to get quiet and I'm going to ask, where does a sensation arise when I think that thought? Okay, so I'm going to say it to myself. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to take a deep breath. Now I'm going to ask myself, what arises when I think the thought, my house is not going to work out and we're not going to have a safe place to live? Okay, so I got an immediate twinge in my stomach that sent a shooting tightness up through my throat. Okay, all right. What are three descriptors for this sensation? And if you have trouble coming up with descriptors, you can ask questions like what temperature, what color, what shape, size, movement, texture. Okay, so I'm going to take another deep breath and I'm going to check in with that twingy whew, sensation that's coming from my stomach and up through my throat. So the temperature is cold. It's cold. It feels like a draft of cold air going up. Okay, what color? Yeah, it's like an icy blue. What shape? It's like a beaker, like in a chemistry lab, a glass vessel that's bulbed at the bottom and thin at the top to mimic the shape of my stomach and then my throat. Okay. What size? It's large. It's all the way. It's from my stomach all the way to my throat. Okay. Movement. There's an upward flowing, a draft of air. Texture, it's very vapor-like. Okay. Any other descriptors? Take a deep breath and wait. Ask the question, take a deep breath and wait. And you can be writing down your answers on this worksheet, okay? Whatever pops into your mind, knowing that we're tapping into our imagination to connect with the subconscious. We're letting go of the judgments that have come throughout recent history about imagination being made up or childish or not good, and instead connect in with the indigenous wisdom of using visualization, visions, as a source of connection with deep wisdom. Okay, what other descriptors come up? And if you need to say the thought again to reconnect with the sensation, you can. The house is not going to work out and we're not going to have a safe place to live. Ah, yeah, so it also has a vomiting sensation, so it's a very like revolting, disgusted, casting out, um and I have a deep, like, it feels very false. Like I have a screaming sensation of that is not true. Okay. So 3, what is this part's message or purpose? Okay, so again, we're going to go back in. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to really feel this sensation. And we're going to say, what is your message or purpose? Hmm. So I'm hearing um, to show you the lies, um, to have you experience how uncomfortable it is to not believe um in the truth of abundance. So this experience of doubting the house situation is to reflect back to me how I continue to believe that abundance is not possible, which my soul knows is not true. So it's making that pain point more aggressive in a perfect design to in the same way that the body detects the bacteria that's not helpful when you have food poisoning. It's giving me that bacteria through the reflection of the house not going smoothly, so that it will be bad enough that have to expel this lie about I can't have a nice house, or I don't. It's not safe to have a comfortable, beautiful home. So it's reflecting that back to me so that I can have the intensity of how painful it is to give me a extra strong chance of finally addressing this that has been pervasive through so many different experiences. Okay. Whew, thank that part and agree to continue the conversation. So taking another deep breath, we go back to that sensation and that experience, and we say in our hearts or on the paper, thank you so much for being willing to communicate with me. Thank you for sharing this insight into why I'm experiencing the things not going well with the house. Um, Thank you for offering this to me as the perfect scary situation so that I can really address this lie that I've been telling myself, that it is not generous to live in abundance, and to show me that it's actually the opposite, that it is not generous to live in scarcity. And so I'm really thanking this part of me. And what I often do in sessions is when I do this personally with myself, is I say, okay, I'm going to close this conversation just for now, knowing that we're going to continue. And I am wondering if you can give me an image or a word or a symbol that can let me know that you'd like to talk again, or that this is coming up again. So I'm going to take a deep breath and just see whatever is the first thing that pops into my mind, which is a balloon, a red balloon. And then if it's authentic, I'm going to let this experience know that I'm open to receiving that communication and that I'm committed to continuing the conversation. If that doesn't feel authentic for you, you're just going to say, this was really hard. I don't know if I can do this again. And if it feels right, ask for willingness or support to be willing and open to continue this conversation. Hmm. So as soon as I asked for that support, I felt the shifting of a relaxation in my body. Okay. So we don't have to expect ourselves to feel capable of this, right? Because there's a good reason why we've been avoiding it. Because the nervous system does actually feel afraid, and this limiting or negative belief, as a lovely yawn, my system wanting to reconnect with my vagus nerve for some resourcing after that challenging work. Um, thank you for being with me in that. By the way, that was not pre-planned or orchestrated at all. That was a sincere, I just tapped into that just to show you how it can be done in real time. So, as we begin to be open to this, what happens is we will start to see every discord or stressful moment or uncomfortable physical sensation as an exciting opportunity to take another look and to get into more uh, coherence with this absolute innocence. And as Sasha Chapin says in another video that I will link here, a video that I've made about an article that he wrote, this deep okayness, of knowing that there is nothing I can do wrong. There is nothing you can do wrong. And out of that absolute innocence and unconditional love and deep acceptance of all these parts that I've judged for so long, as I get to know more and more of them through my love and acceptance, I transform them into these limitless, expansive parts, which can bring into my physical reality the abundance, the ever flowing love that is absolutely limitless and available to all people. And out of this, I can begin to act in such a way that influences the world around me to connect in with this abundance. So it is the reverse of selfish, which is, I still have a lot of parts that are concerned about saying that, right? So I'll continue to spend time with all of these parts of myself, so that I can take all of the discomfort and alchemize it into this expansive unconditional love that I do believe is that the absolute truth and innocence of all things. Okay, I love you, love you, love you. There will be a link to this worksheet in the description. And please comment if you've had experience with this. Please let me know, yeah, anything that this brings up. I love you so very much, and I look forward to talking again soon.